Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video today, I want to continue about square root with simplified topic. So when I say about simplify, it means I want you to understand about the action. You want to change from this square root become to this square root. So this action we call this simplify because the number under the square root have to be smaller. Yeah, from 20 become to 5, so that is smaller. Okay, example about this one, I'm got 2 multiply square root of 20. So how can you simplify this one? I will factorize 20 become to 4 times 5, and you have square root in here, and 4 times 5 under square root I can separate it become to 2 square root 4 times square root 5 like this, and square root 4 is a square number, so you got integer here is 2, so 2 times 2 square root 5, and then you got 4 times square root 5 like this. Another example, you got 2 square root 80 like this, so 2 times 80 you can separate it become to 16 times 5, 16 times 5, and 16 is square root, is square number, square root 16 times square root 5, and then you got here is 4 and here is 5, and after that you got 8 times square root of 5. Okay, so that is very easy. That example about simplify root. Here is my main exercise today. I've got this one, 2 square root 80 minus 2 square root 20. So how can you simplify this one? The first step, if you want to simplify this, you have to simplify this one and this one first. Okay, so how can I simplify here? You have this result, 2 square root 80 you have here, so this one become to 8 multiplied by square root 5, and for this one here 4 square root of 5 minus 4 square root of 5, and now you can look at this, 5 square root 5, 8 square, sorry, you got 8 square root 5 minus 4 square root 5, so the result will be 4 square root 5. So after that I have the new one for this expression. Very simple. That is the way how can you simplify expression between the square root. Another example I want to write down here is 5 square root of 27 minus 4 times square root of 12, and then okay, so how can you simplify this? So if I want to simplify this, I will have to simplify each square root. So the first step, I will separate 27 become to square root number, 27 become to square root number, multiply another number, so that is 9 times 3. And how about 12? The 12 here I will take the square number is 4 times 3. So after that I can write down 5 times square root 9 times square root 3 minus 4 times square root 4 times square root 3, and after this you got square root 9, you got 3 times 5, you got 15 square root 3, and here you got 2 is 8 square root 3, and after that you got 15 minus 8 equal to 7 times square root 3 like this. Okay, that is another example. So how about this one? Square root 500 minus 200 square root. Okay, factor 500 become to 100 times 5, and factor 200 become to 100 times 2, and then you got new thing. You have separate the first square root and the second square root like this, and I think you understand about the next step. You have here is 10 and square root 5 here, and minus 10 square root of 2 here. So for this exercise you cannot combine together. Yeah, you cannot. Another example I want to give you is 500 under square root minus square root of 20. So how can you work with this one? The first thing I have to do is I have to simplify each square root in this expression. 500 I will separate or factor is become to 100 times 5, and 20 I will factor 20 become to 4 times 5 like this, and then I think you understand about next step. Separate this one become to 2 square root like this, and the same thing for the second square root. After that you have square number square root of 100, you got 10, and square root 5 here. So the same thing for 2 and square root 5 in this position. And after that you got 8 like this. Okay, 8 times square root of 5, because 10 minus 2 equal to 8 square root 5. So this action you already learned about this in last video, so I think you can understand this kind of question. Okay, so that is 3 examples of this video, the first 3 examples. So from now I want you to practice by yourself. You can work it by this one. Okay, so I will have you for each question, but I will show my working out with shortened way, in shortened way. Okay, carefully about this. How can you work with this one? Question 1, I separate or factor 63 is 9 times 7 like this, and 28 is 4 times 7. 4 times 7, so this one become to 3. This one become to 3, it means 6 multiply square root 7, and this one become to 2 square root 7 like this, and then you got 4 square root 7. Question 2, you have this one 75, and I can factor it become to 25 times 3, and the other you got 27 is mean 9 times 3. So for this it is 5 multiply square root 3 minus 2 times 3 times square root 3, and then you got 5 times square root 3 minus 6 times square root 3 here, and then you got minus square root 3. The same thing for this one here is for 45, you can factor it become to 5 times this one, and then you got 80 is 60 times 5. So now here 4 square root 9 is mean 3, and then you got square root 5. 2 repeat it, square root 16 you got 4 times square root 5. So for this one you got 12 times square root 5 minus 8 times square root 5, and the final result you got 4 square root 5 like this. Question 4, 18 you can factorize this become to 9 times 2. Okay, so here is 100 times 2 square root here. Now 3 square root 2 minus 10 times square root 2. 3 minus 10 you got minus 7 square root 2. Minus 7 square root 2. Okay, that is question 4. Go on for question 5 to 8. A little bit harder than for this one, because I can see now this one is bigger number. So I will do one by one first. For this one I will care about 4 times 7. And for this one, so how can I deal with this big number 448, and a little quite harder for West. So I will base on this one. I have 4 and 7 is a factor of this factorization 28. For 448 I will try divide by 7 first. 448 divide by 7, you have what? 40, you got 6 here, and 448 for this one you got 6 of 5, 42 minus you got here is 64. Okay, so I can write down 448 equal to 64 times 7 times 7. I divide by 8 because I look at this and I doubt that the number 7 will be the factor of 448. So I'm trying to take division. 448 divided by 7, and I'm got the result is 64. So after that I have square number in my factorization. This one you got 6 times 2 times 7 square root of 7. Here is 2, here is 8, and square root of 7 this one. Here is 12 square root 7 minus 16 square root 7. So that's why I'm got negative 4 square root of 7. Negative 4 square root of 7. Okay, so a little weird. Question 6. You have 12 and 20. So I can write down 20 as 4 times 5. And for this one, divide by 5. Yeah, 245 divided by 5, I'm got 49. That's using my calculator. Divide by 5. And then after this you got 12 times 2 times square root 5, and minus 2 times 7 times square root 5. Okay, so here is 24 and square root 5 minus 14 times square root 5. Here is 10 times square root 5. It's not too difficult, right? And for this one, how can you work with? How about question 7? Question 7, square root of 100, you have 10 and minus 2 times 7 here because square root of 49 equal to 7. So after that, you got 10 minus 14 and then minus 4 in my final answer. Yeah, a little easier. Question 8, 4 multiply square root of 80, and 16 times 5 minus 5 times 25 times 5. Okay, so after this step, you got 4 times square root 5 minus 5 times 5 because square root of 25 equal to 5, and then you got square root of 5 here. Here is 16 multiply square root 5 minus 25 times square root 5 like this, and then after that you got minus 9 times square root of 5 in here. Okay, that is question 8. So we move to our last question of this video. You got square root 10 minus square root 40. I think this is quite easier. 4 times 10. 4 times 10 is mean 2 times square root 10. And here is 1 square root 10 minus 2 square root 10. You have minus 1 square root 10. That is question 9. How about this one? 9 times 4 times 5. 4 times 5 under square root. And here is 9 times 5. Okay, so here is 9 and repeated square root of 4. You got 2 square root of 5. I don't know. Square root of 9. You got 3 square root of 5 and repeat. And then you got 18 square root 5 minus 3 times square root 5 in this one, and 15 times square root 5 is my final answer for this question. Thank you so much for watching this video and see you next time. Bye bye.